We really appreciate it. I've been reading and listening to some of your other podcasts, and I am so honored that you're taking the time to join us. By way of introduction, I'm Mike Linton. I'm the CEO of Valcom. And Josh, do you
I'm
want to
Josh
introduce?
Linton. Yep, I'm the CIO of Valcom. We've been Valcom's been in business 42 years. Mike and I are brothers and have been working together for 20 something years. Delightfully maybe for 10 or 15, but you have to work through the first 10 years of maybe not loving working with your brother. So,
So, and our father started 42 years ago, and then we've been in the business for 20 years. I understand you've been technology professional 20 years. We're at Checkpoint. Tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got into cybersecurity. When did you know cybersecurity was your passion?
I was in college. I studied physics and computer science, and basically felt that I want to do something good that contributes and that, working for the good guys, in the sense of what I do with my life, how do I contribute to the business world, how do I participate as an adult, and I jokingly called it like a beginning of life crisis, where you need to suddenly, for the first time in your life, you're not in high school, you're not in the army, you're about to finish college, and you need to actually decide what you're gonna do when you grow up. I had a talent for computer science, for engineering, and so everything led me to that. And so I decided to focus in computer science, in engineering, where there's a large cybersecurity industry. A friend of mine, my friend and co-founder Avi Shua, was going to Checkpoint and said, "Hey, join me." Uh, and um, and we both went to work at Checkpoint after that. And at Checkpoint, I worked on many different products, um, starting from the first application security VPN for mobile devices, when we just started having apps in Android and iPhone, and then moving to zero-day detection and so much, and till starting Orca 6.5 years ago.
So
that's
in
amazing.
six and a half years, you've grown it that much. Josh, you had a
I
question.
was just going to comment when you said your, beginning of your life crisis. I have a son who just graduated and called it at 25. He's almost 25 and called it his quarter life crisis, right? So before he's not quite midlife, so it's his first quarter life crisis. And although he graduated in philosophy, and so I don't know that he's on track so much to get a job at Checkpoint. Computer science might have been a better choice. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but
Mike.
it's a hard choice, right? You need to decide, like, suddenly, like, it's done. Like, there's no something else that someone else gonna take you through. Now you actually need to deliver.
Yeah, yeah. Checkpoint was certainly a great kind of starting point, sounds like, for you. Mike, what were you going to say?
Oh, it sounds like when you started 6.5 years ago, you decided to leave, start something. Tell us about how you validated your idea to know that it was even a great concept. I mean, your story is fascinating. I would love to hear it.
It's very hard to actually know that you have a good idea. You need to believe that you have a good idea. You need to try to validate as much as possible, but it takes a long time to actually know that you have a good idea or not. Someone asked me one time, like, how do you know that you have a product market fit? And I told them, if your feet are in the Caribbean, then they probably have a product market fit. But it's only after everything is done. Um, um, so essentially, I try to take different principles of what I saw is happening in the industry and what's happening to customers. And the first thing that mattered to me was the fact that My background, like my military background, is from the Air Force, and there's this notion of how to try to figure out what's the root problem, like what you should improve, what should be improved. And to do that, you need to ask yourself really deep questions, and you need to avoid the obviousness. So, for example, I was responsible for zero-day detection at Checkpoint, and every time there was a 0 day, every time there was a breach, people would send you an email, security companies, security vendors send you an email, hey, we can solve your problem. We can find this problem. We can help you. So how come people are being breached? Like if everyone can solve it, so what's the problem? There's no problem. But then, wait, but there's an option to do it, but we couldn't deploy the solution. Why can't you deploy the solution? It's hard to deploy. It causes performance impact. It has false positives. So, okay, so let's ask, so why are there these hurdles? Why it's hard to deploy? Why there's false positive? And then it brings you to a deeper answer of saying, hey, harming production, causing a performance impact, not having context, all of these are root problems in security where the balance of saying, hey, I want the business to move fast versus I want security, sometimes leans one way or the other. Now you need to ask yourself the question, is this the right choice? Should I prefer business over security? Is this fundamental question is part of the reality? And the answer that we reached is no. We can remove the fact that you need to prioritize business versus security. And we found a way to do that through innovation, but we found a way to answer a very fundamental question of, do I have to prioritize security versus business? And the answer is no.
That's amazing. When you talk about, kind of the founders and how you guys kind of did that, there's 8 of them, right? 8 of you that founded Orca. How did you do that? I mean, Mike and I worked together. It's gone okay, but how do you make 8 people work together? How did you guys come together and kind of agree on the direction? What is the common background or kind of the common thread that allowed you guys to be successful?
So I think one of the best ways to solve a problem is to make it a lot bigger. And by bringing 8 founders, you're making the challenges that you might be facing with 2 founders or 3 founders way bigger, because even having everyone on a call to vote is a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
What we agreed is that we brought really talented people on board, really talented people, that every one of them had huge contribution to our success. And if you want it to work, you need each and every one to bring his A game, to bring his portion to the success in the right context, and so that he will feel that he has what it needs to be successful. So it meant that we are putting ego on the side. We are not all part of the decision making. We are deciding based on our role in our company, period, not based on the fact that we are founders. And not only that, it allowed us to have 8 great founders, it allowed us to bring other talented non-founder people to lead the company.
That makes a lot of sense.
Is so wise. So you just defined their roles and said, stay in your swim lane and you do your job really good and I'll do our job and make great decisions that way. I mean, that's hard to manage so many egos. You must have had great people that cared more about the mission than about themselves, which doesn't happen when you get 8 people very often.
Mike, it's simple. We are here because we could have put our ego in the side. It would have failed under the first, term sheet. It would have failed under the first decision, the first debate. This is it worked through survival, but we had to agree on it from the get-go because there was simply no other way to do it.
That's amazing. When you talk about going back to where you talked about making the business decision or priority versus security, and that you innovated enough that you could do both. Can you dig into how you did that? Because I think we're one of your partners. We're selling Orca. We're selling 100 other cybersecurity solutions, and there's seems to always be trade-offs. So it sounds like your success is because you've solved that in some way where the business impact is so minimal, or you can still solve for that. Can you give us more insight into that? Because that is game changing, and I would love to understand that.
So what Orca does is protect cloud environments. Who needs cloud environments protection? Everyone. And the traditional solution required installation of agents. The traditional solution required you to basically connect the dots in order to figure out what you need to fix. Remember where we started? We started by fixing a really big challenge in security industry. And we solved it through technology, through the fact that in the cloud, it does not work exactly as it used to be on-prem, not in terms of architecture, not in terms of scale. It's all virtual. So we found a way to do it without installing agents. We found a way to do it without causing a security impact or a business impact. And when that happens, coming from the background of physics, what happens when you're changing a base assumption? I do not need to install the security. It comes out of the box. What changes? I have tremendous visibility. I can see everything. I can understand now context. So when I was looking at the first outputs of what we can do, I immediately said, hey, no one actually is trying to connect the dots because they don't have all of the dots. And because we have all of the dots, we can do something way, way more intelligent. And also I was afraid, this is part of the discussions I had with customers. I said, I'm so afraid to enable Orca in my environment because I am afraid about what you'll find out. And you can decide to dismiss this feedback and say, okay, so maybe he's not the right customer, but you're wrong. It's a very important, and everyone have this concern. You're saying you're going to give me complete visibility. Think about yourself, about your personal life. I'll give you complete visibility into your personal life. No, thank you, Gil. And there's some truth you would rather left hidden. So why do you have this concern? I have this concern because if I'll have too much things to fix, I have too much things that I need to do, then I won't be able to do my job. Okay, so let's work on it. Let's prioritize. Let's give you the things that matter. Let's make you the hero here. So what? You know what? Today, a huge customer, sent us, they had 4,000 critical alerts. They brought it down by 93% to 260 within a couple of months. And you can say, Gil, 260 is still not zero. Okay. But they came down from 4,000 to 260. Now we can work. Now we can focus.
How do you teach them to prioritize? Like, how do you even do that? Or how does your tool do that so much more effectively than other things?
The way we prioritize is giving you context. Think about having your front door unlocked versus having the door to your bedroom unlocked, right? The context matters. Both cases, a door is unlocked, but context matters. The way we are doing it is that because of that breadth and depth of the visibility, we can tell you, hey, not only that you have a vulnerable asset, this asset is internet facing. Okay, there's an attack surface. Not what is the next question? What will happen if this asset is breached? There's a key on the disk. It will allow lateral movement. Where will it laterally move? To your databases, to your PII. This is your main production service. Like, we are bringing you the data that you need to make decisions. And the technique that we are doing it is by asking these questions. What are we are trying to solve? Why does it matter? You know that we are actually measuring the success of our alerts by how many are being fixed?
Oh,
Wow.
Because think about it, like, who cares about an alert no one cares about?
yeah. What a different way to think about it, right? And something that seems so simple, but we've never done it, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
It's so easy to, to just generate more alerts, but think about it, like a company that have 200,000 alerts, a million alerts, 2 million alerts, that do they really need that extra 10 alerts of that super exotic attack vector that no one thought about and no one ever did? Will that make them more secure? And the answer is no. They have 2 million alerts. They need to figure out which one matter. They need to figure out where to focus on. And the fact that we are piling on more alerts does not help them at all.
Yeah.
What a great business lesson. I'm just thinking about when I deal with our team and I give them an alert or an assignment and there's no context to it. I'm like, they get it wrong. That we need to provide context, and they also need to ask the questions. And that is the way, both in cybersecurity and in business, to really help us understand. And one of our purposes of our podcast is to help tech executives talk to the business executives and to be able to bridge that gap of understanding. I think your context idea fits into that. Any advice and or insights or what you've seen through your experiences that would help a tech executive explain some of these harder to understand concepts, or how to give context in these difficult environments for somebody that just cares about the business impact, not
Mhm.
about API integration or those things? How have you seen that be most effective?
At the end, like all of us, we are generating value, right? We are generating value to our business. And it's always important to think who's your customer, right? So in the position of a tech leader, there's someone who's your customer, whether it is the actual customers, whether it is your executive team, and sometimes, by the way, it's even your peers and employee and direct reports. And so I always ask myself, why does it matter? What value am I generating? Now, um, think about, for example, what matters to business today. Like today, when people think about the transition, the opportunity of AI, why does it matter? Because of velocity. Why does it matter? Because we'll be able to do more in higher quality with less. How me, as someone whose value is security, can contribute to velocity, can contribute to efficiency, can contribute to new challenges and doing more with less? And the answer is, if I can fix more with less effort and give you the context to explain, to articulate, to get the buy-in, to achieve your goals faster and better, I am contributing to those goals. And so where executives articulate the value they get from the platform, they talk about the speed of remediation. They talk about the fact that they moved from arguing with engineering to working with engineering, to working together to secure their environment, from wasting engineering time to actually spending it on the right things to avoid risk on the business. And so a lot of it is around articulating the value. A lot of it, and this is something we definitely try to do in our platform, we're trying to articulate the value. We are trying to articulate the impact on the business itself without FUD, without, imaginary, the whole world is going to collapse if you won't do this. No, we are talking on actual scenarios, actual ways to protect your business, to improve your security, and think about what is the ROI.
I think that one of the questions we always kind of ask ourselves is how can we explain this to a CFO, right, who may not have that technical background? And I think the way that you've talked about that, not articulating the value and the speed at which you can remedy some of these things makes a lot of sense, right, to a CFO, outside of the technical things that maybe we get excited about in terms of how it can help us do our jobs, right, and to get that buy-in. That makes a lot of sense uh, for us. So I think that's super helpful, and something I think our customers can definitely take, to the boardroom, right? Which I think is a big part of what we want to do for them. So
Absolutely.
And you mentioned AI, how it accelerates velocity. How have you seen that be helpful, and where is it harmful? Where do you see it being applied well versus not in your organization or throughout your customers' organizations?
I've seen it extremely valuable in areas that you need either to scale or to generate something that is hard to enforce. And I'll give you examples. Like, one of the first things we've did with AI, we've created ways to ask questions, our documentation, our customer support, and our engineering. And the reason we've done it is not only to provide the value of giving you fast response and accurate, ways to articulate a response. We also added a flag there that captures the intent of the user. And now think about having an organization and a customer is upset, or he's stressed, and so capturing these the positions where you actually need to do more now, like, I'm frustrated, or I'm pressured, I have an incident, I need your help, like, allowed us to, for example, scale the emotional portion of customer success, which is super important, right? Like, being attentive and listening to your customers. And so, for example, taking it from the position where it's only the responsibility of support, that now suddenly customer success is being flagged. Hey, there's an issue here. We need backup. And maybe we need executive. Maybe we need to prioritize. It says it's very important for him, and we flagged it medium. Then there's a gap here, right? So there's tremendous values to be gained, actually, in hidden corners where it's not necessarily like the first and foremost intent, but we are using it in our platform to articulate remediation. We're using it in our platform to search, to query, to help visitors, like, to build dashboards. There's a lot of things that are being used also in the platform itself, but I'm saying that also as a business, scaling marketing, scaling support, improving our customer success, improving our relationship with customers. There's so much things that we can do with this technology that I'm very excited about.
Yeah, it sounds like you're implementing that so well, and thank you for that insight. Shifting gears a bit, when you went to get money, get your first investors, and then you got that really fast, super successful, and you had mentioned that they were advisors, that you really wanted more than that, you got more out of those investor relationships because they had knowledge that your team didn't have, and you really leaned on those partnerships. And then also your go to market seems to be through channel partners and partnerships that way, and we are so grateful. We're not in business if we don't have great partners like yourself, and so thank you for creating such a great solution. It does impact lives. We have 120 employees at Valcom that our goal is to take care of them. And when people take the risk like you have to create a phenomenal company and a phenomenal solution that helps our clients, it helps us all. So thank you. I hope you feel like we are so grateful for the partnership and what that means to us. As you've looked at partnerships, and you've had a scope since Checkpoint and now at Orca, tell us about partnerships and the impact they've had, or any experiences with partnerships that have really helped you or scale Orca, or really what partnerships mean to you. Any thoughts on partnerships?
First and foremost, um, it's really important to act with your partners as you act with customers. And what I mean here is, at the end, they're making especially as a scaling company, as a company that is growing, they're putting a bet on you. You can embarrass them in front of their trusted customer base. They have more to lose than you in that sense. Like for you, you're losing an opportunity. For them, they might be losing a loyal, trusted customer that they are working with him on so many stuff. So you have to be very appreciative. You have to build trust. You have to treat them well, and you have to understand that if you mess up this relationship, you didn't mess up one customer, you messed up 100 or even more. And in that respect, like everything, like your trust is your currency, especially in security. And so if you're not like we all know this from our personal life, if someone screws someone else, he will screw me too, right? Like there's absolutely no doubt. It's only a decision of when it will happen, and I hope it won't happen soon. But everyone understands it, and partners understand it because they've seen it. They've seen it more than you. And I would say the weight of proving yourself is on you. It's not just on tech. It's you as a person. It's you on your business model. It's you on the way you're acting and whether you're acting fair. And whether you're building that trust versus like breaking that trust. Now, as you do that more and more, you get more credit, you get more opportunities, you can ask for more, you can do more with the partners. But essentially, it's very, very similar to the way that you're maintaining friends, the way that you're maintaining partners in the broad sense. You have to work closely with your partners. You have to listen. You have to be appreciative, put your ego on the side, and focus on the long run, because they are here for the long run. And that will, I think, improve your likelihood to succeed with partners.
That's amazing advice. It's clear that you've thought a lot about this and have a good sense for partners. For us, our relationships with our partners and with our customers, we see them as lifelong partnerships. And so you're exactly right. The more we can work together, the more we trust, the longer this relationship and the better it is. And it's clear that you have a good pulse on that. And we appreciate, like Mike said, we appreciate that partnership and really can't do this without our partners. And so those with a really good partnership mentality, we work really well with, and we appreciate that.
Gil, before we end here, anything you would want to tell business executives about cybersecurity or about Orca Security, or in general, where you see the trends going? It's pretty much a question of what would you want to tell anyone that's listening to, and usually it's business executives or IT executives. Any advice, thoughts you'd want to leave them with as far as that goes?
I think we are all in the same boat of trying to move faster, accomplish more, generate more value to our customers. And to do that, we need the tools that will allow us to operate in that speed. We're going to see huge amount of surge of new application, new services, new amount of capabilities that we are all required to deliver to the market to succeed. What we are building at Orca is a way for you to protect your infrastructure, to make sure that your data center is secure at scale with no business impact. And I hope that you will have the chance to support your business growth. What's clear is that we are investing a lot to ensure that we have the tool that supports the future needs of innovation, the future needs of collaboration within your team, and to deliver in high velocity, high efficiency security to your data center.
Love
It's
it.
amazing. Thanks,
Thank
Gil.
you so much. And Gil, we will end here. Just thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank
We
you.
Yeah.
we really
Good luck in
appreciate
New
you. And
York.
now, what are you doing at the stock exchange?
I
What
rang the bell for there
did,
was a
today?
special event for founders. They selected 12 companies. We were selected. So I had the opportunity to ring the bell today.
Well, congratulations. That's
Congratulations.
amazing.
What was that like?
Very exciting. Very exciting. Like everyone on the floor are taking pictures and the bell rings. Like it's a very exciting event.
That's so cool.
Did you ever
Hopefully
think
next time it will be our bell being rung.
Yeah.
that's
But
I didn't want to ask at the beginning. So I do have a question. Did you ever thought, and do you see that for the future of Orca? Are you saying, hey, that's what's coming? That's what's gonna, is that the plan? Or can I ask that?
I hope so. You know, it's like being a public company is something that I hope that we'll be able to reach that scale. We are building for that plan, but as anything, like it's a multi-year journey, and so we are not there yet.
Congratulations and thank you even on such an important day. I mean, that is so cool. Thanks for sharing a few
Thank you,
minutes with
guys.
us. Well, we're excited today. We had the opportunity to talk to Gil Geron, who's a technology executive with 20 years of experience in cybersecurity and software development. He's the CEO and co-founder of Orca Security. We learned that he did this with 8 people. His story is phenomenal. He's demonstrated client focus and how that commitment to delivering efficient cybersecurity. Really, we go into talking about how you can have not much business impact, still have business as a priority, as well as having cybersecurity, which is something that a lot of cybersecurity vendors don't get. And so that's what we'll be talking about today. And he's been responsible for many products before he started Orca Security, and his expertise is in cloud computing, machine learning, and secure software design. We're super grateful that he joined us, and you'll find this conversation as interesting as we did, and we're excited that you joined us today.